Hi, my name is Hardeep Anand. I host these SSIS talks for Saint Soldier International School, Chandigarh. In these talks, we interview children on a range of topics. In today's episode, we will interview Shelly Chandel, a student of grade 10, who represented the school in the National Science Seminar organized by the Ministry of Culture, Government of India, and won the first place at the state level and went on to perform well at the national level as well. So Shelly, I understand you have recently performed very well in a state level or a national level competition.
Yes, sir.
Right? Great. I want you to tell us, what was this competition all about?
Okay, if I start from the beginning, basically my physics teacher, she approached me and she told me, there's this competition about millets that the government has organized. And I knew that the Millet 2023 was the Millet year. So I had an idea, it is somewhat related to that in order to promote millets. So I didn't take it very seriously. I did prepare for it. I made a presentation. I did learn a few points, but I didn't prepare very rigorously for it. Then I went to the first round and I simply gave my presentation. I was not much nervous because it was just a simple setup. It was a classroom. That was basically the district level. And they asked me a few questions. It went quite well. And I thought that they'll give us some prizes, just like a competition. They'll rank us first, second, third. But later on, we got to know that there are two more levels. There's going to be a state level and then a national level. So I just came home and I wasn't even worried about it. But then a call came that you have been selected for the next round. That was a state level. So this time I prepared really well. I went there, I gave my presentation, and I was really nervous when I came home because there was one question that they asked me. There was a panel of judges and each of them asked me a few questions, and there was one question I was not able to answer. I did not have much idea about it. So I came home, I was really sad. I thought I could have answered that question. But I was really lucky because the next day I again got a call that you have been selected for the nationals.
Oh, wow.
And I was the only student from the entire Chandigarh. So firstly, I was like, I couldn't move because I was trying to absorb the enormity of this thing, that I've been selected for the national. So that was a really big moment for me. And then the next day I went to school, all the teachers knew about it and they were congratulating me. And then my classmates were told, everybody was congratulating me. It was such an exciting event. And then I finally made it to the nationals and it was such a beautiful experience. I learned so many things, especially I was really happy to see the Millet Man of India there. Dr. Khadawali.
Excellent. So the competition was about millets.
Yes, sir.
What about millets were they going to discuss? Did they give you any brief before you go for the competition? Did they tell you anything in particular, how to prepare for this event?
So the guidelines were pretty clear and straightforward. There was this circular that they had circulated in all the schools, and we had to prepare a presentation with the 5 slides precisely. Or we could have prepared a chart or something, it was optional. So I made a PowerPoint presentation and then you had to present it and they would ask you questions about it. So basically we had to talk about whether millets are a superfood or a diet fad. Superfood is something which is very nutritious and hardly has any bad impact. And diet fad, on the other hand, is something you can, basically a food which you cannot eat on a long-term basis. It is a diet which you cannot follow on a long-term basis, because it is nutritionally inadequate. This was the question that was asked, that is eating millets really worth it? So that is what I prepared the presentation about, and then they just asked me a few questions from my presentation only.
Very interesting. I don't know much about this. Can you educate us a bit about millets? Tell us, why is it important to have millets?
Sir, millets are basically grains, and they're very nutritious. They're coarse grains, but over the time, we just adopted the culture of eating rice and wheat so much that we somewhere forgot about it. And in fact, in ancient India and in many rural areas in India, millets are still being consumed, and that is very good for our health. Now, if we talk about our diet, right, we have so many vegetables, so many fruits. Then when we talk about grains, why do we only have wheat and rice? There should be variety in that. So that is the concept of millets, and every millet has its own benefits. For example, there is ragi. It is very rich in calcium. So it is good for growing children because it helps them develop their bones. And then there is bajra. It is very good to consume in winters because it keeps your body warm. So people need to, there is a need to educate people about millets and their benefits so that they can have it at the right time, like in the right season and in the right amount, because that can really benefit them. And it is better than having medicines as an old person than to have millets at the stage when it is actually required.
Yes. So it keeps you healthier.
Yes,
so you
sir.
said ragi and bajra. Do you have any more millets as well?
Yes, ragi, bajra, kodo millet, proso millet, then there is jawar. There's
So
a lot of them. There are
which
almost like
ones?
2,000 varieties, I guess.
2,000 varieties.
Yes.
Wow. How many are easily available in India?
In India, there are mainly 3 varieties which are very common and especially found in rural households. In fact, in my own village, bajra, jawar, ragi.
These 3 are easily available.
Easily
Anybody
available.
can have them.
Yes, sir.
Are they affordable or are they more expensive than wheat and rice?
They're actually more expensive, but if we talk about the yield, for example, if I usually have 3 rotis, wheat rotis in a meal, then if I eat even 1 or maybe 2 bajra rotis, that will be sufficient for me. So in terms of yield, they are more. So obviously the price is going to be more.
Okay. Is it possible that if more people start consuming, then the prices could come down?
Yes, sir. Obviously the production will increase and that will make a difference. And the demand will also increase, so the prices will go down eventually. So it is going, in future, if we actually start consuming millets very regularly, then the prices will go down and it will become very economical for people.
Yes, because more and more people will produce
Because
millets.
it has more yield when you eat it.
Yes,
And
yes.
the prices will also go down.
Eventually.
So in both ways,
yeah,
it will be very economical.
Very nice. So, how do you get them? Are they available in the market?
Yes, sir. They are usually.
Or are easily available?
Yes, sir. Usually at local shops.
Local
These,
shops.
local chakkis. There you can easily get these.
Right. And how do you consume them? Do you make bread out of them or what do you do?
Actually, we can make a lot of things out of them. People just think of millets and they're like, we just have to make a roti out of it. But that's actually not true. You can make so many things, like bajra khichdi is so famous. Then you have bajra ka churma, you can make bajra ki roti, and there are so many other dishes you can make alone from bajra. And then like nowadays even ragi biscuits are available in the market. So there are so many diverse ways you can consume these millets and they're so healthy. So you can explore new recipes online. It's just that you have to be careful. You should not over consume them.
Why is that?
Because they have a very low glycemic index. That is, they're digested by the body very slowly. So if you have a lot of them, then it will take very time to break it down and then properly absorb it and make use of it. So,
you said they have a low glycemic index.
Yes, sir.
What is this glycemic index? Tell us
Glycemic
about.
index is the rate at which our body breaks down any food and then absorbs it and makes use of it. So if it has a low glycemic index, although it is good for diabetic patients because then their blood sugar levels will not rise immediately, but if you consume it too much, then it will take time for the body to absorb it properly. So you should have it like once in a day, like in any one of the meals.
So, and the problem with that is,
Sorry?
if it is slow to digest, then the problem is,
So if it is slow to digest, then you won't get energy when you really required it. It's a
Okay.
very long step. It's long process.
okay, so you will be less energetic.
Yes, sir.
So you should not overconsume them.
Not overconsume.
You should have them maybe once a day,
Once a day. Usually it is recommended 3 to 5 times a week.
3 to 5 times a week. Oh, that's
Yes,
pretty good. All right, very nice. So when you went for this competition, walk us through the process of preparation. How did you go about preparing?
For the first round, that was the district level, when my teacher approached me telling that you have to prepare for this, I did not do very rigorous training or preparation for that because I didn't even know much about millets. So I was just exploring that what are millets, how many millets are there. I just did some basic preparation so that I'm answerable to basic questions, and I made a nice presentation. I prepared that and I presented there. And it was actually a surprise to me that I was selected for the second round because it was tough competition. In the next round, because now it was the state level, it was a big thing. So I prepared quite a lot, I'll say. I made notes, then I went through those notes again before like the final presentation. And I was not able to answer one question, which I was a little nervous about. Because I thought like it was a state level, I should have been answerable to all the questions. I think they asked me 5 or 6 questions in total and I wasn't able to answer one of them. But luckily As it was destined, the next day the call came and they told us that I have made it to nationals. That too, the only one to represent Chandigarh. So it took a lot of time to absorb what had happened, that I had actually made it to the nationals.
Yeah.
The first thing I did, my mother called my grandfather and my father, and I called my friend and I told her over the phone that I've been selected for the nationals. I don't know, it was a very weird reaction to receive. She wasn't surprised at all. She was like, I knew it, you could do it.
Who, your mother?
No, my friend, whom I called.
Okay.
So she was happy, but she was like, okay, yes, I knew you will make it to the nationals.
Your friend had full
I don't know
confidence.
why, she had so much confidence. Even I was shocked. I was like, okay, I wasn't confident about it. How come you were confident about it? Like, I was there, I gave the presentation.
Yeah.
And then, that is the time when I actually started preparing really well, because now it was the nationals. I was representing not only my school, not only my family and all, but the entire union territory. So I had to be good.
Very nice. So, in the first stage, how many children did you compete against in the first stage before you reached the state or the national level?
In the first stage, I don't know the exact number, but for the state, I know I think there were almost total of 56 schools.
56 schools at the state level.
Yes, sir.
And you came out on the top.
Yes, sir.
Out of 56 schools.
Yes, sir.
Wow. And then in the nationals, how many schools were there in all?
There were 33 students from different states and union territories.
Okay, very nice. So that it kept getting tougher and tougher.
Exactly.
So you started off at the local level and you were not too worried. You didn't prepare very hard for it. And you were surprised that you were actually selected.
Yes.
Right?
Actually, I was preparing for my midterm exams at that time. Yes, so I couldn't prepare much. I would have put in more efforts had I had much more time, but I did not. But things worked out well, so I'm grateful.
Very good. I want you to tell me how you made your presentation, because your presentation was the key, right?
Yes, sir.
And can you walk us through the process of how you did your research, gathered the right information, and how you put it together, and whether you practiced? What happened?
Gathering the research was not a very difficult part of my journey, because already 2023 was the Millet year and people were talking about it all over, so you could get information easily. So I knew that every competitor will have that benefit. The key was to present that information in such a way that it appeals to the judges and to the audience. You want to make it interesting. If it is just a boring presentation, I'm standing and I'm reading the data, it has this much percent calcium, suppose ragi has itna percent calcium, and then all the data regarding that, it will be very boring. I have to make it interesting. I have to make it appealing. So that was the task. And my mother really helped me with that.
Very good. So you really have to know stuff, otherwise how would you elaborate? That means you
Yes,
studied and
Yes,
you
sir.
really understood what millets are all about.
Yes, sir.
Right? And very good. So at the national level, did anything happen that was different from what had happened at the state level?
So it was so different. Like the best memory that I have throughout this journey is when I reached Delhi, our stay was at the International Youth Hostel. And at night, the night before the competition, I went to the mess, the canteen, and all the students were there standing in lines. They were getting food, they were eating there, and I just sat there and I just looked around. There was one person from Tripura, one from Bengal with that Bengali accent, and somebody from South talking in their language. And so many different accents with different physical features, like facial features were so different. Everybody was different, their dresses. Like in fact, there were some parents who were accompanying their children who could not speak in Hindi or English. They could just speak their local language. And that is when I felt, that was the first time that I felt that, yeah, I've made it to a big level. Like there is so much competition. And it was so beautiful to witness the diversity of India in such a small room and so many different cultures that you cannot even count.
What is the learning from this entire experience that you would like to share with other students of our school and the community?
I think the most important lesson is that you should always do your best whenever you're going for anything. Like, I sometimes regret maybe in the first level I could have done better had I prepared more. So you should always do the best because you do not know what is ahead of it. Like at that time I didn't expect I'll make it to the nationals. So just do your best and always hope for the best.
So this is like an additional activity outside of academics, right? Many kids tend to avoid it. They think if they do a lot of extracurricular or co-curricular activities, they might bring their grades down. Do you think any such thing happened to your performance because of your participation in this event?
No, sir, I did not. I think it's very important to have balance in life. Like if you just keep studying all day long, then at one point even your brain will stop working. You won't be able to absorb new things. You have to give it rest. You have to engage yourself in other activities. It is very important, especially nowadays, because there is so much pressure on children. They have to score 98, 99% in boards. In fact, I have my boards this year. So I am keeping this balance between resting and studying. Because I need that rest. It is important for my body and for my brain.
Can you share with us your learnings from this entire experience when you participated in this event? What did you learn from it that you think could be of use to other kids and you can share with everybody?
Sir, first thing is, it is very important to welcome new opportunities that come your way. My teacher that day just asked me simply that, Shelly, do you want to participate? Or I'd ask some other kid. So my first reaction was that yes, I want to do it, because I knew that even if I don't make it, I did not even know about the entire thing. She just told me there is this competition about millets, would you want to participate? So had I just declined it that day, I would have never made it to this level. So just welcome new opportunities, because even if you lose, even if you fail, you learn something from it. And secondly, always do your best and hope for the best.
As you can see, it was delightful interacting with Shelly. Her enthusiasm and energy was contagious. What is particularly of interest is noticing how she prepared for the competition, how she was ready to participate. She was receptive to the teachers and to her mother, who seemed to have provided her good insights about how to make a presentation. I would like all the students of the school to learn from Shelly and be more proactive and participate in co-curricular and extracurricular activities whenever they get the chance. It's very important for all the students to at least try to achieve great things, and I'm sure if they try, all of them are likely to succeed at whatever activities they prefer to participate in. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next episode.